This is what they call a revolutionary capability. Our focus is consumer and defense. We were working with the Navy, the Marine Corps, Air Force. If we look at our pure new sales year over year for the Christmas period, it was up 60% year over year. So we're growing, ready to scale. We're only getting started. That's how it feels like. We have so much potential. And even though it's been a long journey so far, now we're capitalized, we're public, and man, we're so excited about what we're doing.
Welcome to The Big Skinny with Lou Basenese, where we come about the markets in a way that we're trying to find technologies, companies, and people that are doing really innovative things with asymmetric upside potential. And I am happy to have back with us Jan Goetgeluk, the man who probably is busier than any CEO I've ever seen. I mean, it's been about 5 weeks since we last spoke, and you've been on the road nonstop and putting news out nonstop. But before we get to all those developments, for those of people that are listening for the first time, what does Virtuix do and how can they understand what you're building here?
Yeah, we have a core technology which is called the Omni. And the Omni is an omnidirectional treadmill that lets you walk and run around in 360 degrees inside virtual reality applications. Could be gaming on the consumer side or could be training and simulation for example, defense or industrial training.
Swagger that get us, but I'm low key, I'll make it look easy. No hesitation, I'm on the move. My motivation, I got nothing to prove.
So it's got dual applications, both in consumer markets and then in enterprise type markets.
Yeah. And so instead of just sitting down or sitting up, pushing a button, you're physically walking or running around in 360 degrees inside any sort of virtual environment.
And this is not something like I think of like the fitness gadgets that are very faddish that came on the scene quickly and died out. You've been developing this for over 15 years, correct? And there's a lot of IP that's gone into this. So true technological hardware is hard, like Mark Andreessen likes to say. What's this journey been like and what's the most important kind of milestone that you've achieved so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's been blood, sweat, and tears. I was an investment banker at JP Morgan, and I thought, virtual reality is going to be the next big thing. But I thought you need something to walk around inside VR, so like a treadmill, but in 360 degrees.
Yeah.
Nothing existed, so I started working on that. And then, put out a first prototype, took off, and I quit my banking job and started Virtuix full-time to bring the Omni to market. But it's been a long journey, ups and downs. But here we are today. We're a publicly traded company, and it's taking off.
Uplisted, getting good business, good traction. Yeah. You're seeing significant sales growth, double digits in the last quarter. I think up about 41%, correct?
Yep. And if we look at our pure new sales year over year for the Christmas period, it was up 60% year over year. So we're growing, ready to scale. Definitely
getting traction. If I alluded to it earlier in the intro, I look at the news feed. You announce, right? You get public. You start doing some investor conferences, but then you announce a deal with the Marine Corps. You announce a deal with the U.S. Navy, some research and collaboration. You've got a unit now deployed at Florida Gulf Coast University for physical therapy and clinical simulation. And then also now multi-terrain training, right? So in defense applications that you demoed in Orlando at University of Central Florida, or?
Yeah, it was at the Tech Grove, which is sort of the hub for training and simulation in the defense industry. We were the last week showing our virtual terrain walk system, which is using our Omni treadmill system, but then we use AI-driven 3D reconstruction to very quickly take 360-degree camera footage and turn it into a photorealistic virtual replica of the real world. Thanks to new AI-powered techniques like Gaussian splatting, we can now quickly make high-fidelity digital twins of the real world using, for example, drone footage.
It's 1 p.m. We're here at a training center in Austin, Texas. We're going to be capturing a scan with our 360-degree LiDAR scanner attached to this drone. All right, it's 1:30 now. We got the data that we need. It took about 20 minutes to capture. Now let's load it onto the computer. It's 3 p.m. We're back at the office. The environment is ready. From start to finish, this whole process took about 2 hours.
Think about applications like virtual tourism, industrial training, or mission planning and rehearsal for defense and law enforcement. And that process of creating a VR world, that used to take many weeks or months, very time-consuming, expensive. Now, thanks to AI, we can use photo camera footage, 360-degree camera footage, and within hours, recreate a virtual environment that is exactly like
So you were demoing that to defense applications for multiple users at the same time, so thinking like battalions could actually train in a simulated world. Let's talk about that, because I look at this, and while the consumer market we know can get really big, devices and kind of exercise equipment like the Peloton proved that, right? Millions of units sold. I believe you said you could do how many units in retail sales, kind of consumer?
Oh, we can scale up to 3,000 a month with our current production facilities, $100 million in annual revenue.
Yeah, so $100 million in potential just on the consumer side. What does the revenue potential look like on the defense side? I mean, how big does that get? And again, it could be lumpy, but what's the potential upside there?
If we look at our virtual terrain walk system, training system for 5 to 10 people, if we look at sort-like products, training systems, $500,000 to $1 million for a system. And then if we look at just the U.S. Army, 117 battalions that could use a system like this for mission rehearsal, mission planning. So that gives you an idea.
It's another $100 million of potential revenue for one branch.
And that's just the Army in the U.S. Then we're working with the Navy, the Marine Corps, Air Force. And then we look at allied forces, NATO, for example. So there's a lot of potential there for us.
So what's the feedback that you get from the first-time users in the defense applications? I mean, what's their take on this?
There's nothing like it. This is what they call a revolutionary capability, because the defense sector, the military, they already have simulators for Air Force. They have simulators for tanks. They don't have simulators for ground forces, for infantry. It doesn't exist. So now for the first time, we can train infantry, boots on the ground, into walking inside a virtual replica of their mission area. And it's revolutionary. There's nothing like it.
Have you seen just an increase in interest just because, I mean, we are in a wartime, it just makes it kind of front and center of the preparation that's required? Does that change some of the tenor of conversations you're having with these different branches of the military?
Not with the branches, but certainly the interest from investors and external parties is people know there's a war going on, so that always shifts some focus to defense. And
then let's talk about the physical therapy market. And like that seems like it's a new one that's opened up since we last spoke. What's the potential there? How do you envision kind of penetrating that market? Because I know some investors will say, don't spread yourself too thin. Don't go after too many markets at once.
100%. And we stress it in our press release as well. Look, our focus is consumer and defense. That's our dual-use strategy. That's our focus. We don't want to get distracted and chase other objects. But this was an interesting use case where the Florida Gulf Coast University is looking at using our system for physical therapy, neurodevelopment. And it's an interesting field that potentially could open up another market for us. But it's a long sales cycle. And so we're not actively ourselves working on that, but we'll support that project. There's a few other medical projects in the work as well. So in parallel, look, we're opening up that avenue for potentially a big opportunity, a big market in the future, but without getting distracted. Really, ourselves, we focus on defense.
You're getting pulled into those markets and doing that in a measured pace as opposed to being really pushing into the defense and the consumer. So what are some upcoming milestones that investors that have been in the stock since you became public or that are considering it now should be on the lookout for as we move through the rest of this year?
We have some really exciting things in the works. Some I can talk about, some I can't. But we've announced our Meta partnership, our Meta collaboration that is going to come out in a big way here in the next few months. On the consumer side, the gaming side. And then on the defense side, we announced some of these early partnerships, collaborations, sales to the Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force. As we pursue bigger contracts, bigger opportunities, which are in the works as well. So that'll be another catalyst in the defense sector.
So let's talk about the Meta partnership. How does this play out? I mean, do you bundle this with their headsets at the same time? Is there a partnership in that way, or there's kind of co-marketing and promotion that goes along with it? Help us understand how that gets traction into the market and drives more sales.
It's potentially all of the above. And we'll announce here in the near future as we come out with our SKU for Meta. For sure, they'll also promote it, cross-promotions, part of their website. Look, ultimately, Meta sold over 20 million Quest headsets. By recent estimates, there are about 6 million active users. So that's a big user base that but now for the first time can buy our products and use our product, the Omni, with their existing headsets and games. So it opens up and expands our addressable market by an immediate 6 million users.
Yeah. How do you think, I mean, so I do a lot of media stuff, and right now there's always a fixation on the consumer. And are they strapped? Do they have enough discretionary income? I would tell you that you never bet against the consumer. They've continued to spend very well. What are the trends you're seeing? And then how do you make these purchases more amenable to them? I mean, is there payment plans, financing? Because I think of the days when Peloton was scaling, they had 6 ways from Sunday that you could get one.
Yeah, and we do as well. So the upfront purchase price, but there's a monthly payment plan with Affirm, buy now, pay later. So a lot of different options there. And also a cool thing is that now you can also buy our product with your FSA or HSA funds, so flexible spending accounts, health savings accounts. It's approved for that as a sort of a medical device.
Yeah, and you've seen people really use it too. If I remember correctly, you had a gentleman in a couple months that lost 40 pounds using it.
Yeah, 40 pounds in 4 months. Wow. If you play our device for up to an hour playing an action game, you burn about 700 calories. And so we have those studies, those tests, and our device got approved to be purchased with those HSA, FSA funds.
So it's very feasible for people to purchase it. You have plenty of production capability. You're scaling into international markets as well. Yeah. How is that going from just I know it's early days of that, but what's that expansion look like? Yeah,
very good. So we've always been focused on the US first. And a couple of weeks ago, we announced our European expansion, where now consumers in Europe can buy our product. Enterprise customers have always been worldwide. Yeah. And we have some more markets opening up in the near future as well that we'll announce.
Okay. So you got a lot of catalysts that are on the horizon, from new markets expanding, maybe some new medical device applications, possibly some big contracts with the military, different branches, Meta partnership. I mean, that's a lot of things moving in your direction. Yeah. What keeps you up at night? What are the things? I mean, do you worry about tech risk? Do you worry about someone trying to copy what you're doing? Do you have supply chain issues that you think about? I mean, where's the pressure point and the risk in here for you?
For us, it's execution. Yeah. We're scaling, we're growing. So we got to keep that momentum going, keep that growth up, keep our traction in the defense market going. We have a couple of other big projects that we're working on that are very exciting. If we execute well on all of those, I think it's going to be a very exciting year for us and our shareholders.
Yeah. So help me think about what's break-even number of units that you have to sell each year? Just kind of getting a rough idea of that.
Right. Yes. I don't think it's something we disclose publicly. Okay. But we're focused on growth right now. Yeah. We're mostly focused on growing, expanding, scaling, more so than breaking even right now. Yeah. We just went public. We have access to capital. I think our investors really want us to grow and take this to the next level. Yeah. So that's our first priority, investing in our growth and expansion before we start thinking about breaking even. Now, certainly once those defense contracts start to kick in, those are high margin, high value contracts. So certainly the profitability picture starts to look pretty good.
Do those come with service agreements to kind of keep the units in good operating condition? I mean, how do you think about I think of this as a technology that could be akin to like an iPhone, right? You get an installed base of active users, and then there's all these other incremental revenue opportunities that can be generated from it. I mean, do you think of the Omni in a similar way?
Absolutely. And all our different markets have this structure where there's an upfront purchase price, but then we make recurring revenues. In the defense sector, it'd be a software license. Yep. It'd be a maintenance contract. If we make the simulations, the environments using our AI capabilities, that's an ongoing service that we offer. So those are typically 5-year contracts.
Okay. So it could be very robust. I mean, you're in move fast, break things, sell things quickly. How do you protect the technology, right? I mean, I think people are concerned that I'm sure there's ways, people that are trying to manufacture something similar, probably overseas. How do you protect what you've built?
Yeah, I mean, our device is not easy to copy. Yeah. People have tried. Well, first of all, we have a great patent portfolio around it. 25 patents issued, 5 more pending. Really everything from the mechanical design, the motion tracking, the game integration. It's not a simple widget either. It's not just a piece of plastic. The hardware is complex, plastics, metals, fabrics, electronics. Then you have to do the tracking of the body and then integrate into the experience. To do all of that well, it takes a lot of effort. It took us $50 million and 10 years to really fine-tune this technology. And people have tried to copy us. first of all, you're going to infringe on our patents if you want to do it in a cost-effective way like we're doing it. Our patents are very broad. But second, it's just hard. It's hard to do it well. So right now, we're so far ahead of any competition that from a competitive perspective, we're in a very good spot.
Yeah, so there's nothing else out there. Do you look at certain ways, different partnerships, other technologies that you might team up with to get faster penetration? I mean, how do you think about the competitive landscape when you're really unique relative to other technologies?
We do. It's another thing we look at, especially in the defense space. What can we do to accelerate our capabilities there, accelerate our growth there, either through partnerships, through M&A? It's something we're actively working on.
Okay. Anything you think investors are missing about the story? Because you've been on the road. You are, the Energizer bunny here, trying to get the business scaling, also make sure that you're touching all shareholders, getting information out there, which as an individual shareholder, tremendously respect, because there's a lot of companies and management teams that go silent and just say, hey, we'll see you on the next quarterly call. Is there anything that you think needs to be emphasized more that just isn't resonating the right way that you think it should?
I don't think so, because I think the advantage we have is that our story and our product, it's quite simple to understand. It's very visual. When I show it to investors, people get it. It's one of the reasons why we've been very successful in the private markets raising money, not just from VCs and institutional investors, but also equity crowdfunding. We've always had a big community of investors. Yeah. And now in the public markets, we see the same result. We show our story, we tell our story, we show the products, show the videos. People get it. Like, wow, they see it. Like this can be so useful for many different applications. So they believe in the story and the potential. That's helped us in the public markets.
So interesting trivia question. Are you the only or the first company that was backed and on Shark Tank that also went public via crowdfunding and is now publicly listed as it?
It's a good question. We were on Shark Tank. Mark Cuban is a big investor, invested 3 times over the rounds, hasn't sold any shares.
That's awesome.
But it's a good question. I don't know if any other Shark Tank companies have gone public. I think there are. I don't know who it is.
Best and worst experience from Shark Tank?
You're
probably not going to say the worst because you don't want to say negative things.
Yeah. Look, I was in front of the sharks for 45 minutes to an hour, and then they distilled that to 6 minutes of as much drama as possible and build a whole narrative around it. Which I look at that like, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
So I don't like watching the episode because I feel, but what a great exposure.
And what did you learn from that experience as you set out to, bring in other investors? I mean, how has that helped you in terms of the communication and pitching?
For sure, having Mark Cuban as an investor in our company over the years has helped us a lot. Yeah. It's a big sign of trust and confidence in what we do. And he's been tremendous and helpful to us over the years. So very grateful for that.
Yeah. And then remind me again, what's the insider ownership and, just kind of the equity table look like? I know you've got some institutions come in, you got a Mark Cuban. How much skin in the game do you have? I mean, that's always a question investors ask.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm still the largest shareholder in the company. I own about 15% or so.
Yeah. So that's
insider ownership. I need to double check 35 to 40%, including our team, our board.
So everyone is motivated and incentivized to be aligned with shareholders.
100%.
In a very big way.
I mean, we're only getting started. That's how it feels like. We have so much potential. And even though it's been a long journey so far, now we're capitalized, we're public, and man, we're so excited about what we're doing.
Listen, if you're just getting started, you've accomplished a hell of a lot in a very short period of time. So I'm excited to keep track of what you guys are doing, follow along as a shareholder, but then also would love to have you back to give us updates as you alluded to some of those good things in the works that you can't talk about yet, but would love to have you back if you're up for it.
Terrific, Lou. Thanks.
Thank you again.
Always a pleasure.